My wife says, you're signing a lease with the Harbor Walk Village. I said, yes.
What is the Harbor Walk?
This is where we are. This is the Harbor Walk Village.
Oh, the Harbor Walk.
Yeah,
oh,
the
okay.
Harbor Walk
yeah.
Village is where we are. The ground you stand on right now is owned by this Harbor Walk Village. He says, my wife says, why are you signing a lease with the Harbor Walk Village? We're broke. You can't afford this. I said, I know.
So you don't have to pay here
Oh, yes.
because you are standing. Yeah, you have
Yes,
to.
yes. I said to my wife, I said, I know I'm broke. I said, but God can pay for it. I said, and He will. I said, so I'm going to sign the lease. So I went into the office, I smiled, and I signed the lease. She says, now, Pierre, you need a deposit. I said, okay. I go home, I tell my wife, I need a deposit. She says, but you don't have a deposit. I said, but God's going to bring someone to give me the deposit. So my cousin, he's a tugboat captain. He just so happened to be here, and he's never been here before. He just so happened to be here and let me know he was here in where I'm living here in Destin, and told me he wanted me to paint a painting of his tugboat. And so I said, well, there's my deposit. So I get the deposit, and then they let me stay all the way till saying you have to pay your first month rent in March. I said, well, okay. My first month rent is due in March, so I'm gonna pay the first month rent, and I'm not gonna be late. And so we work out here, and we don't, by the time the end of the month here to pay the first month's rent in March, I didn't have enough money to pay the rent. So my wife says, now what are you gonna do? Did you look at our account? I said, it doesn't matter. She says, we don't have enough to pay the rent. How are you gonna do it? I said, God's gonna pay the rent. She says, yeah, but it's due tomorrow. I said, it's okay. So that night I came out here, and I was standing here, and I said, God, I'm gonna thank you tonight for tomorrow that you're gonna pay the rent. I said, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I know you can do it. Now, if a person pays me with a credit card, it takes 3 days for it to clear, 2 or 3 days to clear. And so I knew that wouldn't go into the account right away. And so if they pay me with a check, it takes time for the check to clear. And so I knew that wasn't gonna work either. So I knew I really was gonna need a real miracle, because I mean, and I didn't know how it was gonna happen. So when I went that night, after I looked, I saw this cross, and I sent that picture to my wife of the cross up here. And it was nighttime, so the sky was black, and that cross was lit up. And so it was a surprise to me. And while I looked up at that cross, I said, God, I'm sorry for just asking you to pay my rent tomorrow. I said, because you already paid everything. You already suffered and paid for everything at that cross. And you paid for all our sins. I said, so it doesn't matter when we put our faith into you and what you did at that cross. I said, it doesn't matter if you pay my rent tomorrow or not. I said, but one thing is, for me, I said, for my faith, because I already know you can do it. I said, if you don't pay it, I still trust you, and I know that I can trust you no matter what. It doesn't, if you don't, that means it's not meant for me to be here. I said, but I said, I would like for you, if you could, I'm praying for my mother-in-law. I said, because she has no faith. I said, she probably thinks I'm crazy because I signed a year lease, and she's concerned about her daughter being with a person who's gonna sign a 1-year lease when he's broke. And how am I gonna provide for my family? And all these other worries that she might have. And so I said, that's why I would, if you could do it for her, because I want her to believe how much you love her, how much you care for her, and how much you're taking care of her just like you're taking care of us. And she's gonna see through this experience, maybe she might recognize that this is powerful. And so I went home, and the next morning my wife says again, Well, I look at the account. She says, "There's, we don't have it." I said, "It's okay." I said, "Write the check." She said, "Write the check." I said, "Write the check, Jonathan." So she says, "Okay." She writes the check. She gives it to me. I come back here. I put the check on my counter in there, and I prayed all day. I said, "God, I trust you. Some kind of way, I don't know what it's going to be, but I believe you're going to pay the rent to me. Not only my rent here, but my rent at home too. I believe it." And at about 3:30, a gentleman from Bridgeside Marina in Grand Isle, Louisiana, he called me and he needed some of my artwork on a t-shirt line that he's starting called Limitless Outfitters. And so he wanted my artwork on his shirts, and he says he wants it, and he's gonna put the cash in my account right now. So he goes and he puts $4,000 in my account.
Did you?
Before, I think it was around 3:30 in the afternoon. Right when I found out the money went into the account, I grabbed the check right there. The mall manager was here, and I walked up to the mall manager here, and I handed him the check, and I told him that I didn't have this. This was from God. And I was thankful. And he's been taking care of us my whole life. My whole life. He always has. And he always will.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.